I'd like to introduce our first speaker for the evening. Her name is Char'nel Colin. She's from Nanakuli. She's a former co-manager from Ma'o, but she's currently working at UHWO in the garden. Char'nel is finishing her bachelor's degree in sustainable community food systems. And sustainability for her is about relations and connections with people. So I want to welcome this evening, Char'nel.
Aloha, everyone. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm Char'nel. Like Christy said, I'm from Nanakuli, born and raised. Also graduated from Nanakuli High School, class of 2010. So my presentation tonight is just basically about my journey and how I found my way to be part of the Sustainable Community Food Systems program at UHWO and what kind of led me to that path. So I'm gonna kind of begin off where I graduated high school. If you guys knew me in high school, I kind of was a person who didn't really like big crowds or being involved in a lot of things. So I kind of wanted to prove my parents wrong, where I joined sports. And when I joined things, I joined them without knowing anyone who was in it. So when I joined soccer, when I joined paddling, I didn't know who I was gonna meet. I didn't know, things that I was gonna do. So after I graduated high school, I immediately went into Ma'o. Kamuela Inos actually gave a presentation at my school. And in that time, I really wanted to be in culinary. And so I figured, what better way to be involved in cooking than to actually be growing food and be closer to food. So I immediately went into Ma'o, again, not knowing anybody. My goal was to just go to school, get my degree, get more education, move on. So I kind of had this little attitude on my shoulder, like I was kind of like, I'm not gonna make friends. I'm just gonna go get my education, and go on my happy way. But during that time, I actually made very, very good friendships with the people that was there, and that was kind of my grounding there. It's like when you go places, when you go anywhere, you kind of go in intentions of, I want to go to school. I didn't realize I was going to come out this program knowing so much great people and getting to know everyone. If you guys don't know, that's Shayla, and Shayla's right there in the back. So she was actually in my first group when I got there. And so the other thing too about Ma'o is that when I got to go to like great places. One of my favorite was Aotearoa. So I went there, and this picture on the right is actually at a Marae Papatunuku in Auckland. It was like such like an amazing experience because for Maoris, they're really deep rooted in their language and their culture. And as us Hawaiians, we're kind of like a little bit disconnected from that. At the same time, Maoris also wanted to learn like farming systems. Like here in Hawaii, like we have the great system of the ahupua'a and organic farming, and so it was a good cultural exchange between the two cultures that I got to experience, along with the great food. I mean, if you guys never had real bacon, I suggest you go to New Zealand because their bacon is like the size of ham. I mean, it was amazing, and their butter. Oh my God. Okay, I better not start talking about food. I'm getting hungry. And like again, relations on the farm. So this is Charisse in the back over there eating. So this is actually one of the days. There was a hurricane warning. I think it was a hurricane warning. And you know what? We're farmers. The thing we always talk about is farmers. We never stop working. Rain or shine, hurricane, tsunami. We still gotta come to work. We still gotta feed people. So this was kind of like a fun day for us where we just kind of let loose. Kind of took the gator around in the mud. So it kind of taught me a really important thing about hard work. And when you work with great people or surrounded with great people that all have a common goal to go somewhere in life, that just makes whatever you want to do in life much more funner. And this is another picture. We had it's called Spirit Week. So we kind of wanted to liven up the farm a little bit. So we had, this is the staff and the co-managers or high LTs was the paint crew. So we had like this whole week of just dressing up. We had like Aloha Friday, we had mixed match day, sports day. So it's just like a whole bunch of fun experience that I got to be in at the farm. And then also through my journey, I got to be a part of WIPSI, which is the World Indigenous Peoples Conference. So our Maori Ohana came down that I got to work with. And when we have guests that came over to the farm, like it was like probably the best time because then you get to connect with people and you get to learn different things about them. I learned some people that came with this group, some of them was like part of like a river tribe, you know, and they learn different things. Even though they're from the same place, they're all from different places and they all have different knowledge to give to people. I'm gonna show a video right after this. So through my journey through Maui, through my AA degree, I actually did this small little project on childhood obesity. So I became kind of like a health freak when I joined because I wasn't really into like kale or just farming in general. So I kind of got my family involved in eating healthy foods. You know, I came home with kale, radishes, hakuris, and my mom was like, "What is this?" And I go, "This is vegetables, you know, this is what we grow." She's like, "I don't know how to cook this." I go, "Me neither, but we're gonna learn." So, you know, she was like, I was like, "What, Mom? What's she cooking for dinner?" She's like, "Oh, I'm cooking sweet and sour spare ribs." I go, "You know what, I don't know how to make this, but we just control the radish, we control the hakuris and the kale right inside." And you know what, that was the best thing I've ever made. The first time I made it, all that oil and that fat from the pork just soaked it up. I mean, you got unhealthy and healthy mixed in one. I mean, like, that's how it starts. It starts that way. And I always tell anybody, however you cook these vegetables for cooking, bacon fat or pork oil is the best thing to put it in. And so after I got my family's diet to change a little bit to a more healthier diet, my little cousin at that time was around 6 years old, and she actually had something called like pre-diabetes or something. So she was kind of overweight for her age. So I kind of wanted to do something with her to plant vegetables at home, kind of get her involved to know what's around there. At the same time, she was actually planting foods from school, so which gave me a better opportunity to kind of open up to farming and cooking more stuffs at home. Should I go over there? Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is just like a small clip that I did maybe like 3 or 4 years back when I was doing my A degree. So here it is.
Childhood obesity is a problem on the Waianae Coast. The environment contributes a lot to childhood obesity. Many communities are filled with fast food stops, limiting healthy choices.
My name is Gabriella. I'm 6 years old and I'm from Nanakuli. Our teacher gave us our own seeds. We got to go plant them, and I went home and I plant my own seeds, and I got 3 carrots.
We can all help to improve this problem by growing our own vegetables at home and getting our children involved. Let's all take a step to live a better and healthier life.
Yeah, so that was a short video and a project that I did with my cousin during that time. And also during that time, I was just like wondering, you know, like, especially to do with health, because at that time I was a real health freak. I was like, I wonder what the disparities are like in my own community. And I wanted to know specifically on children, because my family has a lot of kids. And so I kind of want to know that. And what I kind of found, this was like 3 years back, so I'm not sure if the data had changed. But I noticed that there wasn't any actual information on each community of what the obesity rate was for kids. So I kind of had to go out there and kind of make my own conclusion. And I also wanted to know what the contributors were to childhood obesity. I looked at the poverty rate on our community. I looked at school lunches, free or reduced lunch, what it was like. And then I also looked at the environment. What are our kids eating? What's there in the community for them to eat? And another thing was like the biggest contributor was our parents. For my cousin, my auntie didn't really make the right food choices. McDonald's sometimes 7 o'clock at night wasn't the really best thing, yeah. So I kind of really wanted to get into that and get her involved in farming. And the thing about it is that when I'm gonna jump back. I heard this this one former teacher of mine said that kids don't want to farm these days, and that kind of hit me because that was my teacher. And to hear that, it's like you don't really know that, yeah. You haven't really seen what some of these kids are capable of, and you just got to open their mind to all of those kind of things. And when I got her involved in farming, like the eyes in her light was just like, oh my God, and then when she actually got to harvest her own carrots, she was so excited. But she only planted 3, so she could only pick 3, So I was like, you got to plant more, and even with my own nieces and nephews, at the garden that I work at, I take them. Oh man, they like harvest everything. They're like, oh, we like pick the sugar cane, we like pick the eggplant. We go home, come on, we go cook. I don't know how to eat this. I don't like cook them. I'm just like, it's the fun and the joy they get in it. And when they actually start doing things on their own and plant it, and they see the progress, that to me is like the most like fulfilling thing I can ever see. Like a kid's light in their eyes and like, I did this, I grew this, this is mine, and I'm proud of it. So that was kind of my thing during this era of my life. Oh, I sound old. Okay, so. And I also got involved with this knowing my community kind of thing. So I kind of wanted to go out there and do this thing like where I just go and feed the homeless. I just pull out of my pocket just whatever I could get, and everyone contribute, chips, cookies, something little in the beginning. This actually was the first one I ever did, and it was probably the most touching because some of them, they actually saw their own family members out there at the beach or in the Waianae boat harbor, the camp over there, and some of them saw their own classmates. So it was a eye opener for all of us to know that, yeah, we have homeless on our side community, but that's our own friends and our own family, and that really made a difference for all of us. Every year after that, I still kept doing it. Eventually, I kind of want to like get into something where. Kind of like how they have the program going on right now at the Waianae Boat Harbor. I don't know if you guys been there lately, but there's like they're planting like trees around. People are donating a lot of stuff. So, that's something good, and I'm glad someone got that going because that's something I wanted to do because every year you can't just keep feeding them. You gotta feed them. You gotta create something that they can one day be sustainable for themselves. Yeah. And then graduation came for my A degree. We have this tradition in Ma'o where all the farmers that graduate wear their boots. So that's what we did. And the girl that's wearing her boots with me, she is from cohort 6. So each year we have a different group when we come into Ma'o, and I'm from cohort 5. So I was actually the only one left in my group that came in that year and the only one that finished through Ma'o. So I was kind of like a lone soldier, and I was by myself in that whole time. But that happened. And right after that, I graduated, got into the HOWT program where I had to work in the office, but they made it where I work in the office and on the farm. Because for me, I kind of just keep still. I kind of just sit down in an office. I'm going to be Netflixing all day. So I was like, what, we'll do farm and office. So in a way, that kind of opened me up to a different side of the business. So I got to do a lot of public speaking, tours, stuff like that, hosting events. So I got a different feel of it. When you're a farmer, we get to talk to everyone, but not like how I'm doing like right now for you folks. Farmers are just like a little bit more busy in the field. And then right after that, I became a co-manager. I became a co-manager, and at the time, the SCFS, the Sustainable Community Food Systems degree, was just coming up. But it wasn't really like planned at the school. So the first year and a half, my degree was kind of like all over the place. So I went into public health administration. I went into humanities, I went into business, and then SCFS came, and then I finally jumped into that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about SCFS. So the Sustainable Community Food Systems, it's a bachelor's in applied science. It kind of covers the ecological and social issues in food and agriculture systems. And it kind of is based around this concept called agroecology. So this degree, oh man, there's so much. So this degree it's like, we go over all of the ecological issues. Is like, we want to use and utilize our environment, our plants, to its advantage. You know, we don't want to just plant a tree here because it looks nice. We want to plant it here because it's useful for the environment. It's useful for our habitat. We also want to develop safer organic farming systems, safer systems for farming, and a way to kind of give back to the Aina and not just keep taking and keep taking. And agroecology kind of looks at this concept of, how do I look at it? We want to farm, and we want to be able to plant plants, foods, crops in a way where it can fertilize the soil without having us to have external inputs and using chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, all that kind of stuff. At the same time, this degree kind of opened up my eyes to a little bit more of the social issues around it, not just dealing with food, but also dealing with communities and the issues they face today, and not only in health, but also in schools and everything around it, because the food system's connected to everything if you think about it. And it also opened me up to the political side and how our food systems is run. If you guys don't know, a lot of big guys on the top that kind of control our food systems are workers that work for like Monsanto's, you know, like that's the kind of things that, you know, it's retarded, you know. It's like, how are we gonna fix this problem, become a sustainable state and a sustainable Aina if the people that we're supposed to entrust and we're supposed to, you know, guide us through this is working for a corrupt company. So those are the kind of things that opened my eyes to and realize that, you know, it's us that needs to be up there. It's us that needs to be the ones that making the change, you know. And so for me, everything is about eating right, supporting local farms and organic farms. Just recently, I actually started eating a lot of poi. I mean, a lot of poi. I gained like 10 pounds in like 1 week. I started this Papa Ku'iai class where I made my own board because I just want to make my own poi at home. And it's a process, you know, like before, when I first started the board, like it's just a flat piece of wood, you know, and you gotta hack that thing. I'm doing it all by hand, no tools, just one little ko'i, and you're just like that for like hours, just like going and going, you know. And when you eat poi at the end of that hard working day, you know, it just fills you up so much, and it's definitely a different kind of food to be eating. And probably one of the biggest things that I learned throughout my journey and being in the sustainable community food systems is connections and relationships to people. Aina as well, but people. Because when you have connections and good relations with people, that's how a movement begins. When you get everyone on the same page, that's how a movement begins. That's how we can all be on the same page and work to this change and work to become more sustainable and living healthier lifestyles. Not for us, but also for our keiki and our future generations. That left picture is actually a day where it just rained all day and we were just soaked. And you know, and like what like at the end of the day, you know, you're soaked and we're like, hey, how about we just go jump in the mud and take some pictures and show everybody how fun this is. And you know what, it was fun. This right picture is actually me and my sister. So my sister later on joined the program. So like I said, I really got my family involved. You know, my sister decided to become a farmer too. And I believe she just graduated this semester too with her AA degree. So you got a line of family going through the farm as well. And then this is just a couple of other pictures of our experience. We had like a Nahiraka from an Auntie Manu them came down from Aotearoa, and they did a preserving class. So we did like marmalades and jams and stuff. So again, connections with people. And this is the kind of things they did up in New Zealand. We had this thing was like fermented corn. I don't know if you guys ever smelt it, but it smells like the inside of a cow, or like if you ever like, you know, goats, that's what it smells like. And you know, and what they did is that you had to grind this thing up on the wood, and then you put some, I think, heavy cream or cream milk or something in it, and you drink it and you eat it like kind of like a soup. And that's the kind of thing they did up in New Zealand. You know, it was cold, and that was like something they ate, you know, and that's something new that we learned. And preserving, especially up there, was a big thing because of the weather changes and stuff. So again, connections with people. Yeah. And then this right photo, a bunch of us went to the Ripoons up in Waihole. And we basically just helped them clear out some piece of land, pull out some weeds, and oh my God, that day was so muggy, like super muggy. Like we wasn't even wet because we jumped. This is before we went to the stream. It was all soaking wet, and that feeling you get after a hard day of work and you jump into that stream was like the best feeling ever. And then eating some good food, some honey, some poi, like oh my God. And that's basically my journey, you know. In the end of the day, like sustainable community food systems to me is like such a broad degree, and you can go into so many sections in that. You know, you can be specialized in plants, you can specialize in pesticides. For me, I kind of want to know everything. I don't want to just know one thing. I kind of want to know everything. So when people ask me, oh, what do you want to do with your degree? I like do everything with my degree. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, I don't want to just know one stuff. I want to know everything. So I'm kind of like all over the place of what exactly I want to do, because I want to be involved in everything. And for me, a degree is not about just making money. Like I could care less how much I get paid. What really fills me is the fact that I'm doing something good, and I see the look on people's face, or I can see the results. You can see the results, and that is the most fulfilling thing that no one can pay for. So, yeah. Mahalo.